What's going on, guys? Today we're going to talk about tipping on deliveries or like when you go out to eat and stuff like that. We're going to talk a little bit about that and how y'all feel. We'll tell you how Justin and I personally feel about tipping. Like, Justin, what do you do when like you order pizza or something like that and delivery guy knocks on your door? Like, what's the protocol on that?
It's two different things. Like, depending on where I get it from, if I could just add a tip to the driver, with my card, or if I order from a small place that's like, we can't do it, you just got to tip them in cash.
Mm-hmm.
And that's real. But I like to tip people, especially, oh, this is great. We haven't ever even talked about this. Especially like your demeanor and your personality and how I feel you as a person relate to me as a person, or how I feel your day is going. One time,
At band camp?
yeah, at band
Yeah,
camp.
bank camp.
That joke, again, that's twice now. Probably won't be the last.
Never. It's like my go-to.
This this girl from Domino's showed up, and I just was like, "What's wrong?" And she's like, Nothing. It's just always, this is just how I am. My parents asked me the same thing." And I was like, "Dude, life's okay." And she's like, I don't know. This is just who I am." And I was like, "Hold on, man. I tipped this chick $100.
It's good.
And I sat on my outside of my house. I sat down and I was like, "You good?" And we talked about life for a little bit. But like, I tipped her $100 just because I felt bad for like who she was. Like, not who she was, because I mean, she was probably a great person, but like something resonated in there with me. And I've done the, not the $100, but I like to tip well.
Just the tip?
Now, if you're a shitty person and you make me feel like shit or like you don't care, why would you deserve such a good tip? But even then, I'll still give you your 15%.
Like it depends on like how quickly they get the food to me. You know what I'm saying? Because like when I order Jimmy John's at work or whatever, and they bring it out, like I tip them fucking huge. Like sometimes I let the ladies in the office fill out my paper or whatever, and I was like, "Yo, they said it was this amount. Like fucking 10, 12, 15, $20 or whatever." I was like, "Make it for 25, 30. Whatever the varying thing is." I was like, "Give them a fucking good tip." Like they bust their ass, so fuck it. Plus gas is expensive right now.
Exactly, but what my mother was just talking to me about
Corn Pop was a bad dude.
is that, like, at sit down restaurants, there's a new thing that certain places are, what's the word?
That's a serious question, right?
In, like, putting into order, putting into place, that you automatically pay a 20% gratuity to your bill, and that is for them to pay their dishwashers, cooks, bartenders their normal wages. And they want you to know that does not include your tip to your waitress at the moment. And then I was just mind blown. And my mom's like, "Yeah, that's really a thing that places are starting to get away with." So for one, I always thought it would be cool to own a restaurant because I'm like, I could just pay my waitresses $3 an hour, my cooks $3 an hour,
I hate all of you.
and all basically I'm doing is paying for the supplies and raking in everything.
Well, you can't do that. Like that's only for waitresses and waiters because
Okay,
their
okay.
tips make up that amount. Like if you pay them, like I think last I heard it was like 213 or something like that. But then they project them to make X amount of tips per hour, and that supplements that income. But like your cooks and stuff like that, like your dishwashers and stuff, those are all like hourly employees and stuff. You know, but I don't
That
even
is,
think that's right. Like I think they should be paying these people 10, $12 an hour because they got to deal with everybody's shit. Because at the end of the day, like, let's say you give
yes.
them a good tip, like, let's say you fucking give them $20 or whatever. They're supposed to legally claim that on, like, their taxes, you know? And so then they got to pay taxes on that shit too. A lot of people don't do it. Like, when I was a delivery guy, like, granted this has been several years ago. Like I never claimed all my tips and stuff like that, but he was also paying me like minimum wage for whatever. And then like when I worked on Fridays, like he'd just pay me cash under the table, which I never say anything about that either, but.
But the point that I was trying to make before, you were actually right about what you're saying, that it is just your waitresses and your waiters.
Mm-hmm.
The fact, though, that they're now changing it to where we are paying that, plus our tip doesn't count towards them, that 20% gratuity. So let's say I wanted to tip my waitress 20%.
Just the tip.
That's 40% total of the whole bill. Like, you're killing me, Smalls.
See, and like back in the day, like I actually saw that. Like when you go to a place, like this place that I was a delivery driver for, like I'm not gonna shout them out. Everybody knows who it was, no need to
shout them out.
No, fuck
I'm kidding.
That.
I'm kidding.
We don't
kidding.
do that
I'm
on
kidding.
this channel.
I'm kidding.
And
I'm kidding.
so like when they would have like parties and stuff come in, like they would actually put a little bit on top, as a gratuity to the server or whatever. But at the same time, like the lady one lady, our waitress, she was actually real cool. She only worked on the weekends or whatever. But then sometimes during the week, like we had this other lady that, again, we probably all know who it is. I ain't gonna shout nobody out.
Okay, I don't mean to be a bitch.
But she was just a fucking bitch. She was rude to the customers and shit like that, And she could get away with it because, well, it's not like she could get fired because of who she was, And like, people wouldn't tip her and stuff like that. She'd always bitch about not making tips. And it's like, but wait a minute. You don't need to work for the money. You're just doing it to be a bitch, Like, you don't have to come here. You don't have to work. You just want to be there because, well, I can't really go into the whole specifics, but she didn't need to be there.
Why are you even here, Randy? You'll never be the leading man.
Fuck you!
And it's just like, you're nuts, lady.
That brought up two thoughts into my mind. One, I went out to eat with somebody, and I've paid, and I always do at least 15%. Like, as I remember when, like, it normally used to be 10, then it grew to 15. But depending on how nice you are and how well you interact with us, like I said, I could tip more. Well, when it was my friend's turn to pay, he gave her a $2 tip, and I about lost my shit. I'm like,
right?
Did you see the bill? And I'm like, how nice she is to us? I'm like, we see her every morning that we go out to eat. And that's all you're going to tip her? And she's super nice to us?
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, how could you do that?
Oh, look at the scowl on that woman's face.
I just don't understand what would compel a person to be such a bitch to a total stranger.
Like, I don't mind tipping people. You know what I mean? Like, because I get it. That's how you live.
Mm-hmm.
Secondly, your busboys. The waitresses, I've heard, are supposed to technically split their tips with the busboys. And, like, I've had a friend that's done that stuff, and this was way back when I was in my teens. And he's like, this chick will give me a few bucks, and I know she's making $60 a night, and I'll get $5.
That goes back to what I was saying earlier, though. Those busboys are probably paid like an hourly wage, so all the tips and stuff like that those waitresses are getting, they don't have to split shit. Like I've heard of places that will literally take like bartenders, waiters, waitresses, everything. Like they all put all their money into a pot or whatever, and then at the end of the night they split it however many ways. Which I don't agree with, because you could have one shit person and one outstanding person, and it could be like 75% of it was her money, and like 25% was his money, or vice versa, however you want to split it. And dude, that's just bullshit.
Man, this is some bullshit!
Like,
I totally agree.
There was this one time,
A bear camp?
like we went out to Applebee's. I was on a business trip out in North Platte, and we went out to Applebee's, and I got a steak or whatever, and like this chick was literally like on the verge of being annoying, because she was like back and forth at our table every few minutes. Hey, can I get you guys something? Hey, are you doing all right? And like every time I was very polite to her. I was like, no, I'm good, thanks. Or, can I get another refill on my soda? Whatever. And so when it came time to pay the bill, like I actually did the stupid tip the bill challenge. Like I don't usually agree with those stupid TikTok challenges or Instagram, Facebook, whatever challenges. But like this time I was like, yo, she earned that money. Granted, it was like a $20 tip, but in my mind, she earned it. Plus I was just going to write the meal off to the company anyway. So that kind of makes me look like a bad person, but I can't write off the tip, but I still did it. Like I was just like, you
No.
earned this money, it's still $20 going in your pocket. So,
And I think that's good of you. Like you could have paid that for your, the whole meal for everybody, but you did that.
mm-hmm.
See, like that also brings up a topic that, like, when you're at business meetings and people that you're coworkers with and you all go together and have to pay a total bill. Let's say, though, you just went to that meeting and were like, I'm not hungry right now. I'm just going to get a few drinks. But then at the end, all your coworkers, and there's 10, 15 of you, are like, split the bill with us. I think that's unfair.
Yeah, I would have to agree. It's like I only got like an appetizer and a drink or whatever. Like, here's what I'm putting in. Like, there's no reason that I should have to pay some of your shit, unless it's one of those things, where I'm just like, hey, I'll take the whole thing. Like give me the whole ticket. Like it's fine. We ain't got to split nothing.
And see, like, that's why with coworkers that I've worked with, like, I enjoy their company. So that's why when the bill comes, I'm like, I'll just pay this because, like, I enjoy eating out with coworkers. Granted, not like 10 or 15 of them, but we got like 5 of us that I really enjoy your company. After a long week of work, that we went and we're like, let's hit, Perkins, just so to say, if I'm working night shift.
Jerkins, what?
My kid's allergic to Perkins. He can't have
That's
their
weird.
eggs.
Man, he's
Yeah.
allergic to fruits and Perkins. Like what the hell?
Oh, dude, my kid can't eat anything. But like tipping is a huge thing, though. Like, there's some people that don't deserve it. Like you were saying about some ladies are just bitches. And they're mean, they're rude, they ain't working for it. But then you got, and I've known other people that have told me that when they're waitresses, they're like, certain days don't pay shit.
Oh yeah.
They're like, so we need to make up for this day or that day. And even if I'm having a bad day, I got to put on a nice face and I earn that. But then you got Susan over here, Debbie Downer, whatever the fuck you want to call it, being the same typical bitch. If she wants half of your pay, if you're doing a pot shit, that's bullshit, Because, I mean, like, it's a struggle for waitresses and waiters. Like, I get that. Like, delivery drivers, it's like the other weekend when that guy came to my house and he handed me a bag of McDonald's, 2 bags of McDonald's, and I was like, what? This ain't for me.
Right? I don't even have DoorDash.
I don't either. Or DoorDash, or there's Uber Eats, all that stuff. But the thought ran through my head of, oh, it's just my friend's messing with me and it's paid for. You know what I mean? And all he needs is, because it's paid for, all he needed was his tip.
Just the tip.
But then I was like, he didn't speak English very well. And I was like, let me see your phone. And he showed me, and I seen the address, and I was like, oh, that's Aya. Aiki Aya. And like, my broken English, or Spanish, yeah, my broken English.
The rapidly rising I don't know.
Same. But his broken English and my broken Spanish got him to the right direction. And see, like, that could affect his whole life. He could have got fired over a mistake if I would have just took that food. But I don't need that karma, for one. I don't need that family or whoever ordered it pissed off and then, like, you don't know what that poor guy, that poor family. For one, their food was already cold. But it's like, what if your kids were fighting and screaming and you're like, fine, I'm broke as shit, but I'm going to get you McDonald's tonight.
Right?
And
Shut the
then
fuck up. I'll get you the damn chicken nuggets, you little bastard. Just leave me alone.
And then I was greedy. I'm like, nope, don't need that karma. And like you said, the price of gas right now, dude, you gotta tip well. Like, I understand sometimes you're in a tough spot and can't afford it, you know? But like, people out there doing you a favor, come on. They're doing you a favor.
I agree. But
And
anyway, so that's all the time we got. Like, my neighbors are down there pounding on some weird shit. I'm not even sure what the hell's going on. Like, I don't know if you can hear it in the audio or what, but apparently now's not a good time to record for them. It was for me. You know, I was really enjoying this episode, but we're going to have to cut this one short. So let us know what you think in the comments, whether you're a good tipper or a bad tipper. And
or a no tipper.
yeah, or a no tipper, you know, or you one of those fucking schmucks that everybody hates delivering to because it's, oh, this fucking asshole, like, no tip here. Because we all know those people exist. If you ever had a delivery job, we know they exist. But anyway, sound off in the comments and let us know what you do. Peace.
You know, we should probably feel guilty, but she broke the cardinal rule. Don't fuck with people that handle your food.